I tell people the Bible is not a holy book. Considering if you see it as a holy book, you miss the point. It's not a holy book, right? It's just a true one.
Hold on, man. You gonna let this dude say the Bible isn't a holy book?
Like, but this is what happens. People don't think about what they're saying. So we can look in the same book, right?
Yeah.
And this book has examples of things that are holy.
Yeah.
Things that are holy cannot be handled by common hands. This is the burning bush. This is the Ark of the Covenant. Anything that was considered holy, an object that was considered holy, or a land that was considered holy. Moses there, he's like, take off your shoes. You're on holy ground. He couldn't go and get a clip of the burning bush and bring it home and put it on his mantle, talking about how holy it is. You will die.
So that's what you mean when the Bible isn't a holy book.
Correct. It can't be a holy book because it couldn't be handled by common hands if it was.
But you see how misleading that might be?
I see it's misleading if you're not thinking about what you're saying. Either words mean something or they don't.
Yeah.
If anything means anything, then what's the point of talking? When you use the word holy, have you ever had to think about what the word means? Or did you just accept the effect of it? So we can speak for clarity or we can speak for effect.
Okay.
And unfortunately, what we're doing now is all we do is talk for effect.
So what does it look like to accept the effect of it?
So effect is holy means, oh my gosh, we want to make sure it's holy. So, God be the glory. You're saying a bunch of stuff because that word has an effect on you.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the problem. If you're only talking about it for effect, and that's the only way you're speaking, and you're speaking from a place of manipulation. I'm always trying to persuade you instead of inform you. Truth don't need help. So if it's true, I should be able to just say it.
Yeah.
I don't need to add no extra sauce on to get you to think a certain way.
Yeah.
If it's true, truth don't move. That means no matter what angle you come at it, it should be able to move. People assume they assume that everything they believe, they thought through.
Yeah.
But that's not how beliefs works.
Truth being told is different than truth being believed.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
if truth is truth fundamentally, then it has the power to change someone in a way without it being presented in a manipulative way.
But a lie can too, right? In fact, lies do more damage than truth ever could, to be honest with you. Because lies, that's the problem with deception, man. Deception especially. Deception is terrible, man. It's terrible because it takes a piece of the truth. Like a lot of the conversation between Eve and the serpent, he wasn't lying. He wasn't necessarily lying.
He wasn't necessarily
But he was being extremely deceptive. That's why it makes also lies do more damage because lies typically work because they appeal to your ego. For example, there's somebody in the city right now lying on me, bro. I can't tell you how bad it is. It's bad, bro. Like it's bad. Like just, and then they admitted it in private to someone. Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just on what I'm on.
Yeah.
That is doing so much harm. There's so many people I can't help now because of that. No, I don't affect my life. God is blessed. Me and my people are fine. But there's so many people I can't help because of that. Because the lie that people tend to believe is the one that appeals to their ego the most and they don't even realize it.
That is so true.
Right? Truth speaks to the spirit. So the reason why because truth is humbling, it's going to make you shrink.
Yeah.
A lie can embolden you in a direction you shouldn't be in the first place. That's why dishonesty is so dangerous. That's why I try to be as honest as possible. Like, no, if it's true, it's either truth or it's not. And we're all humbled by the truth. The truth is older than all of us.
Yeah.
None of us have a claim to it. One of my favorite scriptures is we see through a glass darkly. So we're all trying to figure this thing out. But in your process of figuring it out, right, you have to have some premise that you're operating from. So I tell people, like, it's not about what a word means. It's what you mean by it. You just haven't thought about what it meant. It's just the effect. You haven't thought about what holy means. It's just the effect.
The effect of it.
It's the effect of it. And we do everything. I call it meme language. We do that with everything now. Well, these popular sayings that don't make no dang sense when you think about them. What's understood? What's
It's understood.
it got to be explained. And it's like that. So if I'm asking you, that means I don't understand.
Morty.
Limits don't exist till we put them there.
So, Stephen, Travis, welcome to the Elevate Podcast. Kind of excited about this. I think it's going to be really fantastic. So, for the people that might not know you guys, will you please introduce yourself?
People are waiting, Steph. The people are waiting.
I bet, it's your boy Stefan. I go by Steph the Messenger online. So if you ever, come across that name for podcasts or music, right? Yeah. So thank you for having me, man. Here with my guy.
Travis.
Yeah, Travis, I'm ready to get into it. Let's just
go. So
I'm not controversial.
I have to ask this. Why do people call you controversial? Why is he calling you?
People don't call me controversial. He calls me controversial. People don't call me nothing.
Are you controversial?
No, I'm not controversial at all. Look, this is why I think of controversial, right?
Okay.
I am not convinced that a lot of these things are controversies. I feel like I'm being like gaslit or something. Oh my gosh, this is such a deep topic. It is like, this is everyday stuff, bro. Like, it's life, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to process. You only do that really through discussing and discerning.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll answer it for him. He's controversial because he's
here we go.
offensive when he speaks.
I mean, depends on the person being talked to. It's only right. Oh, the spirit gets hurt, the ego gets offended. People just don't realize how egotistical they are.
Yeah.
That's what happens a lot of times.
Hold on, can you rewind that? The spirit
Gets hurt, the ego gets offended. So a lot of times people don't realize they're operating from their ego. That's why everybody's so afraid of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is only scary because we're overly concerned about not being accepted if people see who we are. I just accepted the fact that I'm not going to be accepted anyway. So let's just get to the truth. Either it works or it don't. And so the problem is people claim to be that way. That's what be happening. People claim to be a certain way until it's in front of them. And now you either got to admit you were never that in the first place, or you're going to try to demonize the thing that actually is, exposing that you're not. My goal is never to expose people.
Yeah.
I'll be chilling. I'm in this situation because he asked me to be in it. I really be in my office. Like, I really don't, written a few books, all of that, but like, I don't, and I enjoy helping people with their interpersonal weight, right? Like, helping people boost their interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence.
Okay.
So they can better attack the problems in their lives with effectiveness. I love me some effectiveness, man. I love, effective. It can be effective and efficient.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
I love language.
So my the subject of my podcast is Elevate Podcast, right? And I think the focus is usually being effective. So because I don't really care how many vocabulary I can speak to someone unless it's affecting them in a way that will bring them to a state of elevation, right? No matter how much you convey with eloquent speeches, it doesn't matter if the person doesn't understand it or they don't grow. So let's touch on effectiveness and then we can touch on purpose, because I think the goal for this podcast is how you guys are living in purpose and how does that look like and how do you become effective member of society. So let's go from there.
We can go from there. That might be the conversation.
Yeah.
Probably for the next 40 minutes, honestly, just that opener.
Okay.
I think that's the problem, right? So I'm going to say something that's going to sound contradictory to what I just said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The best way to be effective is to not make effectiveness a goal. I hate the fact I said that out loud, but it's true. The best way to be effective is not to make effectiveness a goal.
Okay. Elaborate, because it's like,
Right.
hey, that's a dope line. But I'm like, what do you mean?
What you mean, Willis? Right.
Because I feel like if you, okay, let's bring a scenario, right? You are aiming at something. And if you can practice that, then you're going to be effective because your goal is aiming at a certain goal, right?
Yeah, but you can't control outcomes.
That is true. But you can put yourself in a situation where you become more effective to control the outcome.
That's still you saying you can. That only works if I continue to believe I can control outcomes.
Okay.
What you just said only works if you believe you can control outcomes. Because if you can control outcomes, you can say I can position myself to be more effective.
Yeah.
I think effective has to be a principle. It's not a goal.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So my goal is when I'm doing something, what is the best way to do it based on the variables that I know?
Okay.
Right? But I'm not going to feel any regret for missing because you got to miss to make. Life is not like chess. Life is like Battleship. Have you ever played the game Battleship, the board game? Where you have to ask, like, okay, F5 to F3. Did I hit something? No. But the missing creates a shape of what you're supposed to actually hit. Life is more that way. Life is like chess. Y'all playing checkers. It's goofy if you understand how chess is actually played because you have stationary pieces. That's not how life works. I wish. You building your empire, like, I just need to get this job. You get the job, and then the CEO sleeping with somebody who does something, stock drops, the business now implodes. If you're stuck on effectiveness, you can't get past that. You can't pivot. Because when you become when you start thinking, and it sounds so backwards, just bear with me. When you start thinking in terms of when you make effectiveness the goal, it becomes more important than the actual goal.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Let's see what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. Okay. But let's create a narrative. For example, here, let's say I want my goal, right, is to make 200K in a year. Right? Let's say that's the goal. Now, in order for me to get that goal, you have to apply the principle of maximizing your skill set, right? So that you can acquire more money, all that stuff in your workplace. So being effective in that situation is not the goal, but you need to be effective in order for you to achieve that goal.
So it's also a bad goal.
Yeah, it is a bad goal, but it's an example.
But I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you used that, because that's typically how we think in terms of things.
Yeah.
We're thinking that's the outcome situation.
Yeah.
Someone has to hand you, unless you about to be out here printing your own money, someone has to hand you that. You cannot force anyone to deal with you. But so it's like, don't make that the goal, make the goal positioning yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you're a believer, it's even easier. But how do I position myself for the thing I think I want? Right? Because first of all, going to the whole thing of just because I want it doesn't mean I should have it. But I'm so determined to get the thing. I'm fighting to be poisoned. I'm so determined to get the thing I think I want. When I deal with men, I have a nonprofit. We work with men. The goal is to teach them how to weaponize their trauma to build a better vision for their lives. We actually teach them how to build a vision, right? But it starts with your integrity, who you are as a person, your character, right? So personalities are what you're born with. Identity is what society gives you. Character is what you choose.
Okay.
Right? That provides the, it's like 200,000. I'm like, I just got to get it. All right, go out here. You know what I'm saying? Hit this corner. Go get on your knees. You're right.
I see.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because if that's the goal, then it's whatever. Even if it destroys you, then it's whatever. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that at this point, it don't matter. A lot of things are legal. They're extremely unethical.
Yeah.
OnlyFans is legal.
But it is, it's not ethical in the sense.
Yeah. Depends on that's why your integrity is based on your ethics.
Yeah.
You got to start there first. And we'll get our kids, right? They're in first grade. We're like, who do you want to be when you grow up? Right? And they'll be like, doctor, lawyer. No, that's what they want to do. That's not who they want to be.
Yeah.
But we don't focus on character development.
How do you differentiate between asking a kid what do you want to be and who you want to be? Like
who you want to be are the values that you are going to work on.
Okay.
The values you're going to try to implement, and those values will determine how you go after a goal. So, for example, I have a few businesses. One of them is a trucking business, right? We are Sabbath keepers. We do not travel on the Sabbath. We don't work on the Sabbath. So I've had people. Now, am I trying to get to this money, Justin? I'm trying to get to this money. Let me just be real. With my counseling business is a little different, but when it comes to this trucking thing, I'm trying to get to the cash, Justin. Yeah. Absolutely. But my integrity tells me how to go about it. Because your integrity tells you what you're willing to sacrifice for. Right?
Yeah.
And that should be more important than any goal that you set.
Well, so, okay, that's true. Because now we have to dismantle every preconceived notion.
Correct.
Before I can even lay out a statement, I basically have to define each word.
Correct.
In a way, because it's like, speaking from a Christian standpoint or a believer standpoint who has moral that guide them, like a moral compass. So when I say this is a goal that I set up, I cannot try to achieve that goal without being in a set parameter of morality. So for example, like what you said, the Sabbath, I cannot work on that day, right? Because I honor God because it's the Sabbath. So you look at it from that lens. Now, if we were to kind of give a young children and ask them that question, do you think that's what they will be thinking about?
No, they're gonna think like the parents they take on the mindset of the home that they're brought up in.
Yeah.
So that's how they're going to filter. It's not just about what you're hearing, it's how you're filtering. I hear certain things, I consider this thing and nothing else based on how I'm trained, right? And the limit we have now, I did parent education for a long time for the state of Missouri. Did that for a few years. Parents aren't taught how to parent either. So like they just aren't. They parent from their ego.
From the ego, yeah.
Correct. So now the child is trying to appease a person that doesn't even exist. Right. So when you ask them what they want to be, a lot of times, what's going to make mommy and daddy happy? They're not. No one taught them about money. No one taught. No, I want to be a policeman. You trying to get shot at? Like no one's having that real conversation, nor should they.
Yeah.
No. Who are you trying to become? What do you want to be a charitable person? These are things that we should be.
We should be.
And I got kids. I ain't saying nothing on here that I ain't done with my own children. You know, my biggest flex in the world is my kids can hear me anywhere and be like, oh no, that's the same daddy that comes home.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like
I like that.
That's my biggest flex. My kids like, no, that's at my funeral, they'll be like, no, that's him. That's him. Like he was exactly who he said he was. That's my biggest flex in the world. It's the fact that
I respect any man that can say that.
You know what I mean? To me, that's what, but that comes with a cost. So people misunderstand integrity. Integrity doesn't mean I always miss the mark. I'm sorry. Integrity doesn't mean I always make the mark. Integrity means I don't change the line once I miss. So basically my integrity, I'm telling you how I'm going to suffer. I'm going to be an honest person where that only matters when line is convenient. And there's times I'm going to lie because it's convenient. I got to go back and apologize for that. You only apologize when you misrepresent the person you're trying to become. That's why I don't apologize for people feeling a certain way. It's like, that hurt my feelings. I was like, that was intentional.
What about
that was wrong.
Intentional.
Yeah, it was intentional.
What about like saying sorry for the way you feel? Is that okay?
I mean, is it truthful? That's why I love the truth.
Yeah.
Are you telling the truth when you?
No, I'm saying don't be sorry about telling the truth.
No, that's not.
I'm with you 100%.
No, hear what I'm saying. The question is, are you really sorry about it? If so, are you really sorry about someone feeling a certain way? Are you really sorry about it? Or are you just saying that? Just tell the truth. If it's the truth, then say it. If it's not, then don't. I never say it because I think it's okay for you to feel that way.
Let's think relationship wise. Right? Is it okay? And this is the question just I'm thinking on my head.
Oh no, we here.
So is it okay to withhold truth to someone for the sake of relationship or for the sake of maintaining?
Yeah, you're not saying the honest thing.
Yeah.
It's not for the sake of the relationship, it's for the sake of your feelings. Don't make it sound like it's for a group effort. No, it's for you.
Yeah.
I know if I tell you this, because I'm so attached to you, you might respond in a way that is displeasing to me. That makes you feel disconnected. You might choose someone else. Now, dude, what you gonna do, player? I'm just saying, don't call it what it ain't. I'm lying to you for the sake of our relationship. No, I'm not. I am married. I've definitely lied to this woman. It was not for the sake of our marriage. Because I ain't trying to hear that. It was just easier. And then I gotta go pay for that because my whole thing is about being honest.
Yeah.
So I would say in my marriage, I'm like 95%, honest, right? But that's why she be mad all the time. Everything comes with a cost. Integrity especially. You draw a line, the world is going to make you prove that over and over and over and over and over again. And you're going to fail. Now you go back up. That's how I know what you believe in. What you getting back up and saying more? What you getting back up for? That's let me know what you really believe in. Forget how you deal with success, how you deal with failure, because failure comes.
Yeah.
So when we talk about relationships, it's a funny question because it depends what kind of relationship you're talking about.
I mean, any
Your
relationship.
relationship guru.
I wouldn't say that, but my master's in marriage and family therapy.
Oh, okay.
And so I've been doing this I've been working with, I've been a professional counselor since like 2009.
Wow.
I've been in the game for a minute.
Wow.
Melanin, you know how melanin do. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, like, I got a kid that's in nursing school. Like, we out here. We out here.
So what is, explain to me when you say weaponizing trauma.
So trauma is good.
Trauma is good.
Trauma's good, man. Trauma is terrible, but it's good.
In what sense?
Well, how would you define trauma?
Something very discomfort that happened to you.
So like someone stubbing their toe can be traumatic.
That could be traumatic, yeah.
Right. So if it's that subjective, then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with definitions. It sounds like it does, don't it?
Yeah.
I've been through so much trauma. So I'm gonna give you a definition for trauma. You tell me, we can just chew on it. You know what I'm saying? Because just as I say it don't mean it's true. I'm just aiming for the truth, which means I don't mind being corrected.
Yeah.
Truth ain't got holes. It doesn't have contradictions. Trauma is just the pain you haven't accepted was part of God's plan for your life. That's it. It's just the pain you have yet to accept. Just like it can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why every pain we experience isn't traumatic, right? All it is the pain you have not accepted is necessary for your life path. That's it. And so we teach people to weaponize their trauma. What is that thing you've been hanging on to? All right, let's make it useful. So where I'm from, you know what I mean? Like, I come from a very traumatic background, you know? I don't go into all the details, but I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. My mother was killed down the street from where I live. Like that, you know, just drugs and violence, all the things, right? That nobody really wants to talk about, but all the things. I grew up in that environment. If I didn't, that environment shaped me to be what I'm able to, like for me to be what I am today.
Yeah.
Like really did that. I lived through extreme abuse as a child, extreme abuse. But without that, I can relate to everything. But because of that, I'm comfortable anywhere. We were talking about that earlier. Like I'm not nervous because to make me nervous, you have to be able to do something worse than what I've experienced. So you catch that early.
Yeah.
Then I can sit in a room with someone with a rape victim. Yeah. And we sit down, we chop it up, and we talk. And I have to say some hard things. Right? Yeah, I can do that.
So based on what you just say, and this is what's running through my mind, trauma is necessary.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we only learn through suffering, especially as men.
Yeah.
Men need suffering.
Which is kind of unfortunate though, right?
Sad. Why you touching me, son?
Me?
Men need suffering.
Not even women?
It's different for women. Women need pain. Don't get me started.
Okay.
But men need suffering. Yeah. Women.
What's the difference?
Pain is momentary. Pain has an end. Suffering, we signed up for this. For like being a man hurts.
We decide to be suffering.
No, you can't help but suffer. Because as a man, part of your designation is to want to impact the world that you're in. We all, as men, we're from different places, but that's one thing every man has common who has any help. Unless he's just giving up, every man wants to impact the world around him. Yeah. Right? We depend on that psychologically almost for that. Yeah. But you can't guarantee that either. So because I can't guarantee it as a man, I'm so tempted to. That's why we do the things. I'm trying to guarantee outcomes. But that's where the suffering takes place. If you're trying to guarantee things that are outside of your power. But men can't help but do it. Yeah. Suffering.
I mean, men tend to want to be in control of things.
But it's why we want to be in control. It's to deal with our sensitivity. Because if I know if I have control of everything, then nothing can get to me. Our internal world is terrible. Women do, that's one thing that women just are clueless about. Men having terrible internal worlds. It's a mess. That's why there's a man cave.
I would like to have a podcast just talk about the duplicity when it comes to men's internal, like
oh my God,
fighting and all that. It's an interesting one. It's like you see a man who's having a wonderful day, and then out of nowhere just.
Well, it's not out of nowhere.
I mean, it is not out of nowhere. There's something going on here, but it's just like from an outside perspective.
And that's why men need integrity so badly, because we go with the wind. Men are way more sensitive than women. Way more. In fact, that's a lot of the problem. It's that we treat women. Women are not sensitive creatures. I don't know what we got. That's not what's happening.
Okay.
Women are not sensitive creatures.
What about women being emotional then, man?
No, but again, if we don't define words, anything becomes anything. So what do you mean by what is an emotion? What are they for? If I asked you that question, what would you tell me?
You know, one thing that is very fascinating about what you just say, and I think this might be truth, is like, I feel like I've been programmed by society to believe that women are more sensitive than men. Whereas you find yourself in a situation where you feel as if you're more sensitive than the woman.
Always.
Almost always, because many emotions fluctuate a lot, and what keeps them grounded is usually the principles, like you say, integrity.
That men want to serve. Yeah. We want to serve. We get something from being the person that everyone depends on, even if we're bad at it. Women don't have that. So because of that, because it's how we're designed, I'm going to be more sensitive. Also, I am more attuned to things that go on outside of me. That's all sensitivity is. I'm just more attuned to things that go outside of my body. I am more attuned to that. You know, the video, there's a funny video of like the man and woman walking, and he's like, okay, exit here. Okay, there's a guy right there. I gotta make sure. And the woman's just like, la da 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 da. There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Right? Because as men, we want to serve. We want to serve well. You have to be sensitive to serve well. Think about a servant serving his master, right?
Yeah.
A butler serving. For him to be a good butler, he has to be able to anticipate his master's needs before his master even knows he has the need. That's service. Women don't like to serve. Women want to help. Those are not the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is not the same thing.
Yeah, not the same thing. And so men think, they're like, oh, I'm sensitive, so women more sensitive. I have so many couples that was the problem. I just get them to see it clearly, and then the marriage just completely changed overnight. Dang there.
Can you redefine sensitivity again? Because I feel like in most cases, people think sensitivity, it's an internal thing.
No, it's just it is an attunement. It is an attunement to what's going on outside of your own body. Women aren't sensitive. In fact, women have a hard time being sensitive because they're so egocentric.
Oh, I don't want to go into that. Let's try to stick to the course. It's like there's so much information, and I'm really enjoying this.
I'm just following your lead, man.
No, I'm really enjoying
We
it.
on your podcast. We in your spot.
The Elevate podcast. Okay.
You don't agree?
You trying to pick at this real
With the
bad.
egocentric?
Yeah.
No, it's not that I don't agree. It's that I don't know what to do with that.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
That's a thing unto itself. That's a good.
Because usually,
Yeah,
if a person speak and you can understand the cadence of what they're speaking, even if you don't agree with something, you have to think about it before you can actually say if you agree or not.
You don't have to,
Yeah, that is true. But
you want to
with
because
the information that is being delivered at this moment, I think it's wise to think about it before you can actually. I mean, I can say what I believe and what I think automatically, but
you want to think through it. You're thinking about the people outside of you. How's this going to sound to them? If I want to make sure this is clear, because I am attuned to how they may respond to it.
But you see, I don't even know if I believe it or not. I don't know if I agree with that or not. That's the thing. It's not even about the people.
Well, it's always about other people.
Yeah. Because, let's just break down the statement. Women are more egocentric than men, right? In that sense. Let's take that. I can picture a moment where that is true in cases where women tend to be more egocentric than men. So for instance, when a man is working a job and he make money, the money is usually for him and his wife. But when a woman make money, right, it's usually for herself in a sense where she spend that money to buy things or do all the other things. A man is normally just thinking about their family, while a woman is thinking about.
Well, and because we're wired different. We're built to serve.
Yeah,
we get something from service that women don't get from serving.
So I do agree with that. Like women is, in that sense, it's egocentric. But I can also think of another story that could counterattack that.
Well, it has to do with the why.
Yeah.
It's not the what, it's the why, right? So again, egocentrism doesn't mean selfish. She just has a hard time seeing outside of her perspective. It is very difficult. Like, it's very difficult. That's why it doesn't stick. So I see what you're saying, but if she still feel a certain way, that's where she's going. Or her feelings are rooted in her ego. All feelings
So
are.
she's being navigated by feelings?
She's been navigated. So we got to talk about feelings. This is why definition is so important.
Okay, define.
So when we talk about I won't even go into feelings because feelings get tricky. I'll talk about emotions.
Okay.
Right? Emotions are just a response to your belief system either being affirmed or challenged.
Okay.
That's it. So any emotion you have, you only going to be angry that somebody slapped you if you didn't believe you're supposed to be slapped. But if you were in a slapping competition, you're not angry at the person slapping you.
That is true.
Right?
That is true.
It's still the same slap though.
Yeah.
Right? It's just about what your belief and expectations of any given moment. So when I say women are more egocentric, what all I'm saying is it's harder for her to see the holes in her own logic. I can bring a man to that. In fact, we know something's wrong with a man when logic isn't working. Yeah. Logic is just, I'm showing you how I got there. It has nothing to do with morals, has nothing to do with being right or wrong. I'm just showing you my process. Women don't have that. We need logic to deal with our sensitivity because it's overwhelming. Women just decide. That's probably the biggest difference between men and women. Women just decide.
Okay, so I was actually looking at this statistic, and this is just an outside statistic that I'm trying to bring into this. So men normally tend to have more suicide than women.
Oh, absolutely.
But women tend to be more suicidal than men, right?
Really?
Yeah, right? That's a true statistic. So when men decide, they make the decision right away.
No,
And then when women decide, they think about it.
no, you're seeing it backwards.
Okay, how is that?
He didn't just, when he jumped off that bridge, he didn't decide today to jump off that bridge.
That is true, but men are more calculative in that sense of when they decide to do something, they go ahead and do it.
They have an easier time committing to a thing.
Okay, so that's the difference.
Well, because we have to commit. Because we can't move with the flexibility of women emotionally. Let me explain what I mean. Imagine for a woman, she wakes up and she has $2,000 to spend. You wake up and you only have $100 to spend, right? Mm-hmm. Who's going to be more careful?
The men. I have only $100.
Correct. So when it comes to how we navigate the world, women have more to spend, which means they can afford to make more mistakes. Well, because they can afford to make more mistakes, they're not as careful.
But you think women can afford to make more mistakes?
What? Absolutely.
Really?
That's a good question.
In what sense? Let's pick one parameter.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. There's an OnlyFans model. There's a woman who's a porn star.
Yeah.
And she's saying, you know what? That was my past, and I don't think I should be defined about it anymore. Can y'all take out all my videos that I made money off of? Because I don't want my kids seeing it. Mm-hmm. I wish a man would fix his mouth to make a request. Now she says that. What do you say to her? What would you feel? Let's be honest as men. What do you feel comfortable saying to her? Yep. Yeah. Right.
I mean, I would reject the idea.
Wait, you're reframing the question. It's a very direct question I'm asking.
Ask the question one more time.
What would you feel comfortable saying? She says, she on this couch right now, she says that. Mm-hmm. What are you going to feel comfortable saying to her?
So she was a porn star before. Uh-huh. And now she no longer wants to be in that industry.
Even though she made all her money doing it.
Well, she will be seen as that.
Oh, no. I want to stay here.
Yeah.
What are you comfortable saying? She right here.
Yeah.
We on camera. What do you feel comfortable saying to her?
Okay, as a man.
Yep.
You let it go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, if a man said that, I was a porn star, I was out here slinging schlong, but now I won't be known for that. What you gonna feel comfortable saying to him?
But I feel like men can...
Wait.
Even though they have it.
Hold on, wait. You're jumping too far. What will you feel comfortable saying to a man in that same situation?
That's fine.
You're going to say something to him. You're going to have questions. Okay, brother. Okay, so you're telling me you did all this for 10 years, all over the internet.
Yeah.
And you think it's supposed to just be erased because of how you... Why did you think about that?
I think that question would be more toward the woman than the man.
I didn't say what the question should be.
No, I'm saying that question, I think it would be asked more toward the woman than the men, because in that instance, that story, and I think the woman will be asked that question more than the men.
My question was, what you feel comfortable asking, and you gave the right answer. You like, I'm gonna ease off of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean by women are allowed to. They have more currency because they're typically dealing with men, and men give women a lot of latitude.
Yeah, that man does give women
a lot of latitude.
So why wouldn't he be comfortable?
Cause that's that sensitivity. He understands he understands no matter how much he tries to break that down. If she takes that left, she takes that the wrong way.
I think I understand.
This podcast might be over.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. It's like the woman will not find the connection, but the men will find a connection.
Correct.
The woman will be disconnected to reality in that sense.
And she's allowed to be.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, she's allowed to be.
Point.
And I'm not saying this is not a women are better than men. If you ask me, women are the more effective sex. If you're asking Travis, but it's just the truth. Like there's certain
effective. How?
Effective at getting things done.
Okay.
Like if it's quantitative, give me a woman. If it's qualitative, give me a man.
Give me a man.
But we're taught backwards.
Even with have you looked at the chart of who's smarter, men and female?
Yeah, that's a problem though. The problem with the chart is that no one's defining what smart means.
Well, intelligent. I think it's mostly EQ, right?
Yeah.
IQ.
The person who made the IQ test said this should not be used to measure intelligence because it assumes certain cultural norms. This is the person who created the IQ test.
But if we just go based on the chart.
If we go based on the chart, I mean, it's a faulty chart.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a
I get
faulty
the
chart.
premise might be wrong, but if we just
Correct.
go on the charts, women tend to have a set of, they're more smarter in terms of
The
like,
best way to, the better,
but like men go like
the
this.
better way to think about it is women do better with structure. Men are better at pioneering.
A pioneer in the structures. Okay.
Women are better at structure. If there's a blueprint,
Yeah.
if there's a book
Yeah.
that you can read, that's why women kill it at school.
And that's why men are the pioneer of pretty much
Correct.
everything.
All of this.
Everything. pretty
All of
much,
this.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the worst things school did for little boys was keep them from being outside. We learn like that. We learn about scraping stuff and bumping and stuff, whatever. Women, that's why they can also have so much currency. Because how they move, if she's brought up in a healthy environment, it's just her deciding. What she decides is going to work 9 times out of 10. Especially and then you put a woman in a capitalistic society that's just about capitalizing.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
She will succeed more.
What?
Yeah.
What? They had to create rules to keep women out of, they had to create rules to keep women at home for a reason. Because they come out here, women, a lot of times the women I work with or work, clients or whatever, particularly career women, I just show them what femininity actually is. Because they feel masculine being successful in the industry.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's actually very feminine. We just been taught backwards. I ain't gonna teach you nothing that works.
What do you think about, how can you connect that to the concept of like a woman being a helper?
Because she wants to help. So what does help do? Think about, my wife is a nurse, right? So she has a client who comes in, let's say, he's bleeding from the liver, right? He needs her help, right? He needs her to connect him to things, to wellness in a way he can't even think about. He can instruct her on how to help him. That's what help is.
Yeah.
I'm coming to expand on your framework in a way that's beneficial to you, but in a way you probably didn't think about. That's what help does. Serve means I am working within your framework.
Okay.
I said, hey, look, what's your topic? Whatever you said we were doing today, that's what we're going to be doing.
What we're doing, yeah.
That's servitude.
Okay.
Helping is like, okay, brother, I hear you, but I'm hearing your accent, seeing where he's from. I think it might be better if, and that might actually be true. I'm just showing the difference between helping and serving. Serving says, okay, captain, what are the parameters? If I see a better idea, I'll say it to you. And if you're like, no, Trey, we doing this, that's fine too. That's why men do so well in the military. It's not just about the physical aspects of it. It's really not just about that.
Yeah.
Depending on what branch you're in, it definitely becomes that. But it's not just about that. Men do very well with hierarchy. The fact you're the sergeant, even if you're doing something stupid, I'm like, well, I'm just following what you told me to do.
Yeah. What about the idea of women being more agreeable than men?
Where do we see that? We just be saying stuff. Do you have examples of this? I don't have any.
No, I'm just asking. This is one of the societal.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Well,
I ain't never met a gentlewoman in my life that hasn't been severely abused. I've seen a gentleman though. I've never seen a gentlewoman in my life.
Women aren't naturally gentle.
I'm not saying this. Think about the people, think about your kin. Think about your family members.
He said this.
I ain't talking about people who sound nicer. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean gentler. We both know because women are so present. They're ultra present. Another difference between men and women. We are concerned about the then, legacy,
Yeah.
Women care about the now.
The present, yeah.
Yeah. When they're together, when it's working well together, women keep us here and we keep pushing them forward. But that's why she flips out so hard in the moment. Because to her, the moment is all that's here. So she'll say some wicked stuff because she's angry in the moment.
Yeah, in the moment. Yeah, that is true.
As a man, you biting your tongue because you understand this is not just a
It's
moment.
not the moment. It's
Okay.
So basically, men are more, if I were to use the political terms, men are more progressive and men are more conservative.
No. But it also has to do with words, right? The way
Yeah.
we use progressive. It's so scary out here right now. Like, I don't even know what people talk about anymore. No, I will say it's more of men are concerned with the outside world, the world outside of them, and women are heavily concerned with their internal world.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's probably that's why we say they're more emotional, but that's not how emotions work. That's not them being more That's not where it is, right? They may be triggered more because they're They're hyper in tune with their internal world. Hyper in tune.
Okay.
But the problem is you ain't the only person that lives. Like you ain't the only person here on this here planet Earth.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's a disadvantage that boys have who are raised by single moms. That's the disadvantage. Because he'll emote as if he's a woman. But that doesn't work in the world of men. Now you in prison, or you didn't kill somebody, or somebody looking to kill you. Because that doesn't really work in the world of men for real. So he sees his mama emo. His mom makes it say, I'll give you some feminine phrases. I don't care what nobody say. That's a feminine phrase. As men, we can't afford that. If men have that mentality, the world doesn't get built. The world did not get built because we're smarter. The world got built because we're more cooperative. We are more submissive by nature.
Men are more submissive.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we do better with hierarchy. We don't like the way that sounds. God had to tell women to be submissive because they're not naturally submissive. Why would they be? They're the more effective sex.
I mean, it makes sense if you look at it from your definition of, serve and the framework of serve. That makes more sense. I like that you're very coherent with your thoughts.
Well, man, I just want things to make sense, bro. Because if it's clear, my whole thing is like, it's not about me being, I don't care about right or wrong. I honestly don't care. In fact, if there's two phrases I can get rid of today, if I snap my finger and it would just never be used, it would be right and wrong.
Why is that?
Because it's not useful. It's not helpful. It's not helpful at all.
Is it because the world is not based on black and white or just not useful?
No, because things are based on systems and either works well or it's not. It's not that. It's more of, I understand that there has to be room for nuance. There has to be room for me to be able to pivot. There has to be room for me to be able to change. There just has to be. And it seems to me, because this language thing really bothers me. I want to use that progressive situation. When you use the word progressive.
Yeah.
Progressive has a positive connotation, right? So, and isn't it right to be progressive? You should want to be a progressive person.
To an extent.
That's why I don't like right or wrong. Because then we immediately label.
Yeah.
There's no room for pivoting.
Yeah. It becomes complex if you think about it. Like progressive, what do you mean by that? Like
the truth never is. Yeah. It's either, that's what I'm saying. It's either working or it's not.
The truth, regardless of whether you want to go forward or not.
So that's why I don't like the words right or wrong. I can do wicked and righteous. We can do that. We can do evil and righteous. We can do that.
Okay, that's
we can do that.
Okay.
Right and wrong, you just right for right now. There was 9 planets when I came up. There was 9. And you put that on the test, Pluto's a 9th planet. That's right, even though it's not true.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus discovered America. If you didn't put that on the test, you got it wrong, even though it's not true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when we get caught up on right, it makes it hard to be wrong now because now your ego involved.
Yeah. But okay, an exposure to truth also predicated on information. So for example, in that instance, 9 planets or, I mean,
but it's all the information we have. Who's been in space?
But that is, all that is theoretical.
That's exactly.
Yeah, but okay, I don't want to go into that baseless ground of theoretical thinking about it in that sense, but just the concept, okay? Let's just think about the concept. We don't have enough information to know if there is another planet, right? But at that time, we know that there is 9 planets, right? We can write that down on a test, and that is right at that moment. So that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it's just right. It's just based upon the information you know.
Yeah.
But right ain't got nothing to do with truth.
It does not think
to
do with
nothing.
Truth.
But we convolute the two.
Okay.
We'll treat them like they're synonymous.
That is true. I mean, your brain is wired to think that right and
it gets
truth
terrible, bro. That's why can't nobody talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Because now that's this fear of being wrong. Right? There's this deep fear that if I'm wrong about something, I'm going to be seen a certain way, whatever. So people start hanging on so tightly to not being wrong that there's no room for the truth to show itself.
Mm. Can you be wrong as well as being truthful?
Can you be wrong? Can you be truthful while being wrong? Absolutely. But truth doesn't care about right or wrong. Truth just is.
Okay, so then I'm thinking about it like this. Wrong is a societal metric.
Correct.
And truthful is a universal truth.
Correct.
So if truth is empirical, then it doesn't matter whether you
correct
right or wrong. So let's go into the purpose, because I want to talk about this first, and then we can go into it. Do you think the universe is mechanical in terms of like if you do certain things, you're gonna get to a certain level.
I think it's very mechanical. I think it's very systematic. I just think we don't understand the system.
Okay.
And that becomes the problem, right? So when we look at the iPhone, right? An iPhone, I think it's some of the technology you have here. Like, this is like magic to me because I'm so techno ignorant, right? So this is like magic to me.
Yeah.
Right? This has a process just because I don't understand it. Or what I'll do is start making up understandings in order to help me process with the reality that's in front of me. So I'll create rules. I said, there must be this thing. But I'm coming from a very limited. The concept of writing hasn't been around long enough for us to even express ourselves effectively with pen,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
George Washington could write something in his diary that we read now, but you had to be there. You had to be there to see where his heart was, where his head was, what this meant to him at the time he was writing it, so on and so forth and so on. There is no. So when you look at that as being a fact, then what really is a fact? If I can't tell you about a man, we talk about George Washington, right?
Yeah.
George Washington, the first president.
Yeah. First president.
We won't get into that, but for now.
Nah,
Let's take a conversation.
We're gonna have to have like multiple podcasts.
That's how it tends to happen. But
Yeah.
for the sake of this conversation, George Washington, it's hard for us to say we know him in 2026. It's hard for me to say, and he has diaries, there's a lot of material and documentation, and it's hard for us to say who he is. And that's right there.
Yeah.
What do we know about the cosmos?
Not as much.
But we love to act like we do.
But I can say I know of him.
Well, here's the beautiful thing. That's what I say about masculinity. That's why we can't help but suffer.
Yeah.
I can't help but want to create strategy
Yeah.
in order to deal with my reality, to impact my reality in a more effective way.
Yeah.
I can't help but want to do it. So I tell people there's nothing wrong with having an assumption, right? But the lid needs to be loose. So if you're wrong, you can easily let it go.
Let it go.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
What we'll do is be like, no, I'm right.
Yeah.
And my grandmama and my mama's mama. And it's like, well, you never challenged it. You've been keeping it safe
Yeah.
from challenge. But truth shouldn't matter. If it's true, you should feel very free opening this up and let's see what's inside.
And see what's inside. So truth, regardless, is gonna be truth. Regardless.
Correct.
How you feel, whatever, it doesn't matter. So in that same scenario, we don't know about the cosmos, right? We don't know about the cosmos, but we do know, let's say, for example, the law of gravity, that, right? To some extent, anything that goes up must come down. And in order for us to be able to fly, you can't fly as a human being. The only thing that can fly is the one that apply the law of aerodynamic, right? So you can use systems, or you can use the cosmos in a way to be effective in a sense.
It's like using an iPhone.
Yeah.
Bro, when you talk about this is a very we don't appreciate it enough. This is a very sophisticated piece of equipment.
It's also very dangerous.
Yeah. And there's probably, man, and I use it every day. I use this phone. Who's calling me? Wow, that's crazy. I use this phone every day, right? But when you talk to someone who really does this, the way they talk about it, it's very different than how I talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they have a deeper understanding and they can do more with it. People be hacking people's phone. And I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to send an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can use it. I can use it for my level of need. That doesn't mean I understand the iPhone. When it comes to all these laws that we be talking about, the laws of gravity and all this thing, what we're doing is saying there's a sophisticated thing called reality. And I'm just taking a small part to make it work for me.
Yes.
But it becomes dangerous when I believe that this is a law based upon my perception. You're just interacting with it to the best of your ability.
And I think that's my point that I'm making. It's not based on your perception, because if it was based on your perception, then you could.
If it's really true, well, let me say this very clearly. Truth is it's very difficult to know a thing. It's very difficult to know a thing. Say you know it. Inside out, whatever, it's very hard to know a thing, anything. we harvest. I'm looking at this plant, right? And we harvest crops. But we don't really understand germination, really. We just know the effect. We just know if I do this, this happens.
Yeah. So yeah, and if
But
I do
the fact
this
that an apple tree hides in a seed and then peels out to become.
Yeah.
I asked this question. I was doing a group, and I was like, "Where are you?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, where are you?" No, I'm here. No, where are you? We started as a single cell. Is that who you are? And then everything else just forms around it. Is that who you are? What do you mean to know a thing? It's very hard to know a thing. It's very hard. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. And we use it so flippantly. I know you don't. You don't. I think wisdom is just, I am utilizing to the best of my ability, but I also need to keep an open mind that there might be a better way to do this. But we call on right and wrong, going back to that, you can't afford to pop that top. You can't. We can't see what's inside.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very hard to know a thing. Very, very difficult. So even the things I teach, they are effective based on this little piece of information, whatever I have. But there's so much to for example, it hit me probably about a year ago. And it was something I said in 8th grade. I remember raising my hand. I don't know what got me thinking about it. I was just sitting in the back of the class thinking. I raised my hand and I was like, nobody speaks the same language.
Wait.
I said, nobody speaks the same language. I just blurted it out. I don't know what I was thinking about. I was like, no one speaks the same language. And my teacher was just like, everybody made fun of me as much as they could because I wasn't a mean kid, but you know.
See, that's also based on definition.
Yeah, I mean? But I was like, look, yeah, very true. I was like, no, none of us speak the same language. This is why I can say a word to a group of people and they all speak English. It's going to hit them differently.
Yes.
It just is. I remember I went to a boarding school outside of Philly and they used the word son up there. Yo, what up, son? Right? I wasn't used to that. I'm from the Midwest. We use bro and cuz, right? Dude, right? So someone's like, what up, son? I immediately like, yo, who you talking to? Like, I thought it was an insult. I ain't your son. Because that's you saying you my daddy? That's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, I was like, oh, same word. We all speak English, but it meant something different. It felt something different. We all speak a different language, right? That's one. So the thought that hit me probably about a year ago was that words are the worst way to communicate. It's just the best way we have.
The worst way.
The words are the worst. You ever been in sync with like a best friend or something and y'all finish each other's sentences? Or they'll look at you, you know exactly what they're thinking, though they didn't say anything. Yeah. Oh, that's that creme communication, but that requires trust.
Yeah.
And we break that early. Right? That means I exposed myself to you on some level. We broke that early. Because trust and love have nothing to do with each other. We broke trust early. Broke it early. And so we don't believe. So we use a lot of words. We don't believe anybody's going to feel us.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something in regard to that, but I think let's pivot to the podcast.
Oh, you're the man.
Now, so I think we're about to finish here soon. Stephanie, you have anything? Because I know you've been quiet the whole time. All right. So what is purpose and what does purpose look like living in a purposeful life?
You're asking Trav. I think purpose is a thing you've decided to, I think it's the thing you've decided to suffer for. I think your purpose is very wrapped up. So let me go back a little bit. And there's 4 questions that man needs to be able to address, right? 1, who's this guy? Because every man serves something. You're going to serve something. Even if it's yourself, you just make a terrible God, unfortunately. Or it's going to be some woman, it's going to be some job. You're going to serve something. You're going to project yourself onto something. You just are. It's just, as a man, you just are. I don't know if it's going to be Islam, whatever. You're going to attach to something.
Men as in mankind or men as in men?
I'm talking about men as in like
men. Okay.
Not just like mankind, but actually men.
So it's not possible to be neutral.
Men try to be. It doesn't work.
No, I'm trying to get the definition first before you go on.
No, I got
the men.
you. Yeah.
It's men.
So when I'm talking about when I'm talking about men, I'm talking about
women.
males. Yeah,
Men and women. Oh,
yeah. When I'm talking about men, I'm talking about males
okay.
right now. Who's your God? That's one. Two, what is your purpose? What is this God? Because it's through that framework, now you decide how you're going to impact the world.
Okay.
Because as a man, you want to impact the world around you. So how I'm impacting the world, right?
Okay.
That's your vision, right? And your vision may be small or whatever. It changes sometime, whatever. What's the vision? What is this God, this thing you're serving, requiring of you? And based on your personality, strengths, and talents, how are you projecting that into the world?
Okay.
Right? Three, how do you fail? Understanding how to fail well is such an important part of masculinity. Knowing how to fail well. We are not taught how to fail well. We're taught to avoid failure. That's a problem with the effectiveness thing. What do you do when you miss? Well, if effectiveness is a goal, you'll beat yourself up over just not being effective, even though you're still in play. Right?
Yeah.
A kid working on his stance or whatever, he's at the baseball, you know what I'm saying? He at the mound or whatever.
Play.
And at the plate, thank you. And so the pitcher throws it. And all his training, everything, boom, hits it. Because that's supposed to be a home run, but he comes up short. Imagine him stopping. It's like, what? It didn't work. It's supposed to be a home run. We're still in play, bro.
We're still in play,
We're
yeah.
still in play.
Yeah.
Well, if your goal is effectiveness, you're too distracted by missing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But there, how do you fail? Right. 4, where do you need help and who can actually help you?
Okay.
Where do you need help and who can actually help you? Those 4 questions, if you can get through those 4 questions, then your purpose kind of becomes clear.
Okay.
We treat purpose like this kind of metacognitive thing, and I don't think it is.
Yeah. Purpose seems to be hard to define sometimes for people.
What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Based upon who your God is and what you answer to and what you've been given, how do you want to impact the world?
Does that have anything to do with knowing who you are as an individual?
Yeah, I don't think knowing who you are is really that important
How so?
because it's an impossible question. How are you going to know who you are? You trust your discernment that much? Your personality is set by the time you're 6. You didn't even know you were a person until you were 3.
But if you can understand the underlying notions to which the
How would you
society
know?
has constructed.
And that's why I love truth.
Yeah.
I don't care who's constructed it. It either it's true or it isn't. It either works or it doesn't. No, this whole idea of knowing yourself is baloney. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, what do you mean?
So knowing yourself, knowing your identity has
Oh, that's it. See, that's how you define identity. So if you're talking about how I define identity is what you're given. They say you're a black man. You came over here, you black now. Where you from, no one's calling you that. Over here, you black now.
I'm African.
They're like, you black.
Yeah. Like the story you gave me going back to if you go back to the village and they reject you, then who are you?
Correct.
Yeah.
Identity is what society gives you. Now you can choose to align yourself with that. But no one asked me if I wanted to be black or not. That was not a question I was given. They said, no, you are, and this is what it means.
Black as a social construct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
What are we really talking about? Me and you the same complexion. We are not the same culture. No one would be confused about that.
Yeah. That is true. Like
We come from completely
we
different
have the same
cultural norms.
complexion, but
I know Dominicans that are darker than I am.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
yeah.
Like we just be I'm telling you,
When
like
they say black, that's a culture,
it is an identifying mark that they created.
a social construct.
It's a social construct. They said that you're black, and we're telling you what black means.
Okay.
You don't get to decide that because it has nothing to do with like actual genetics, nationality. It has nothing to do with that.
It has everything to do with the social.
This is correct. And all identities are social constructs, all of them.
Okay. Then what is the truth
Yeah.
when it comes to identity?
So when it comes to truth,
Let's take out social construct.
yeah,
You.
if
as an
we're talking about me as a person, if I'm saying me knowing myself is not important, because whatever I am, I always am.
True, but you can navigate through the world better if you know
That's what people think.
that.
There's no evidence of that. If anything, it makes things worse sometimes.
Also,
If you really knew, thank God that we don't remember everything we've ever done.
but I don't think that's the same thing though.
So when you can only, what you do is evidence of who you are.
Yes,
True?
yes.
All right.
But you also say failure.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a failure though.
Yeah.
Even if you
But I
fail
do
in that
fail.
moment. But if you fail in that moment, that does not, it's not like your identity,
Correct.
right?
That's why I don't care about it because it doesn't matter. I fail. I'm not a failure. Who decides that? Who decides how many times you fail before you're a failure?
Yeah, that's true. Because when you're successful, then you can claim that as your identity because it's a positive attribute. But when you're failing, it's like, hey, you are just failing. It's okay. That's not who you are. Just because you failed.
But the wins are you though. But the failures aren't. It's goofy. Like it's goofy. It's goofy.
I love this.
Yeah, who you are. I tell my kids, my daughter's like, she's a thinker, right? She's like, I just feel like if I knew who I am, I said that would make no difference. Because who you are, you're always operating from that.
Okay.
I'm always operating from me.
Yeah.
You really ain't got to go far. And that's the thing. Too.
What about habits?
Now, habits is a different conversation.
Because I feel like you are made of all those things. Like, habits, decisions.
Let's say it differently. Habits are the effect of the choices you make. But you only made the choices based upon who you are. That's why I say character is the most important thing. Because character is what you choose.
Okay, so it's okay to know the character.
Oh, absolutely. You should, yes.
Okay, so I guess that's the question problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Personality is what you came in the world with.
Yeah.
Right? I saw that with my two kids. They have completely opposite temperaments.
Yeah.
Completely. One is the introvert, one is the extrovert. Seriously, man.
And it's not a social construct or anything.
But it's not. This is how they were. I watched this happen.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do about this. Nothing I could do. This is what God gave them. They came into the world like this. My job is to help them utilize that for the kingdom based on the principles they're taught. Character.
Okay.
Right? So there's certain things that they're saying they want to be, I want to stand over for truth, right? I want to be a person that doesn't, well, for my oldest, that's easier because of her temperament. My youngest though, because she is so driven by her social relationships, people not liking her attacks her in a certain way. It doesn't with my oldest. But you still got to execute the principle.
Yeah.
It's just knowing it's going to be harder for you based upon who you are.
Okay.
Well, I didn't have to tell you that. We see it.
Yeah.
Because who you always take you with you.
You always take you with you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one, God. Right. I think the way you put it is very interesting. It's like, it doesn't matter where you stand, whether you believe in God or not. You always
you're gonna make a God or something.
And I do agree with that. I'm not even gonna question that because I do agree with that. That scripture they talk about serve God or serve mammon, something like that.
But you're gonna serve something.
You're gonna
serve something. You're gonna align yourself with something. It's just how we're made.
Especially if the framework of a man as a male species, like you want to serve.
Correct.
You are going to serve something. You see this happen with a lot of men where they put their women on a pedestal and and it doesn't work. And it doesn't work. So
shout out to Adam, man.
Shout out to Adam.
It doesn't work, bro. Doesn't work.
Putting God on a pedestal, then you have to define God. So right?
Well, you have to define how you're going to serve. I don't think you need to necessarily define God. You need to just be clear about what you're going to do about it. Defining God is very, like I said, to know a thing is so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to know a thing, man. Like, it's so difficult. Like, I'm in your house right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm in your house right now. I met you today. You came to the door, bro. We go on the news later. What's your last name?
Bilombelli.
I can't pronounce that. Justin B. I'm going to mess that up. Justin B. Turned out you a con artist, go to different homes and, you know what I'm saying, set up podcasts because you're just a weirdo. Mm. Who is the dude that's breaking into people's houses to wash their dishes? Like, I don't know, actually. I know what you told me. And I know what I chose to believe. I know what I decided to do with the information I have. I know what I'm doing about it. Hey, I'm here. I'm on this podcast.
Okay.
And if I'm duped, I'm duped. If I got fooled, I got fooled. I know what I'm going to do about it. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that.
You're like, oh, this equipment back here. Oh, yeah, that's my brother's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything's about belief. We're just choosing to believe.
Yeah.
We're just choosing to believe, man.
I think we operate more on beliefs than anything, if anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
But people are not taught to think of it that way. Because they think it's thoughts and emotions, and it is not. It's beliefs.
Logic dies so fast.
Yeah. Because logic doesn't, because people misunderstand what logic is. Logic is not about intelligence. It's not about what's right or wrong. Logic is just process.
Yeah, but yeah, true. Logic is not about
Adolf Hitler was a very logical person.
Yeah, logic is just process. Yeah,
Evil as hell. If what they say about him is true.
Yeah.
But who knows? So how do they know what they? People are like, I do know. I say, how do you know? They'll go to Google, and I'm like, they're like, see, it says it here, and I'm like, you don't know who wrote that.
Yeah.
You know the author. I said, what's the cross references? What was the study? I said, who funded the study? Because who funded it makes a lot of difference.
The winner is the one who wrote the war, right?
Yep. And we all know that. So, you know, if I had to wait to know everything before I do it, I wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do anything.
It's not about knowing God. It's how I'm going to interact with what I know of
what
God.
you know of God, okay.
Right? And everything
and I think that question, when I ask define God, I'm not saying define God, because I feel like even if you were to try to attempt to define God, that would be an impossible task. It's more of like, using the limited information that you have, how can you go about, you know, participating in the world and be a person who live purposeful, I'll say.
And because I understand what you're saying, but I know people who are listening, they're not being forced to think it's terrifying. People are not being forced to think. It used to be like, if you sounded stupid, someone's gonna call you stupid. So to avoid being called stupid, you keep your stupid ideas to yourself. It's a free for all right now. Like anything goes. No one's thinking. They're not being forced, because what does it mean to think? I am taking two concepts and I'm battling out in my mind. Nah, it's just like, oh, this appeals to me, so this is true. And it comes directly out my mouth. And no one bet not say nothing about it. We're doomed, man. We're doomed. So it's affecting everything. They don't know what I said this 10 years ago, maybe. I was like, the schools, they don't know like as far as like education, primary and secondary education, they're not gonna know what to do in 10 years. Because if anything goes, then anything goes. Then there is no truth. And if there's no truth, then it's just based upon whoever says the loudest and means it the most. So now truth is based on other people's conviction. That's goofy.
That's goofy, yeah.
It's goofy.
Do you think?
My question was, what about truth when it comes to the church?
Oh, here you go. Couldn't help it, just
Okay.
had to find a way. Had to find a way. But it's the same problem. So here's how you know someone's telling the truth. You ask them, what is their basis? And then you go after the basis. You just go after the basis. I learned the Bible not because I was trying to learn the Bible. I learned the Bible because I was trying to find contradictions in it. I'm not talking about, it said over here in the Old Testament, he had a left shoe. He tied his left shoe, but over here he said he tied his right. That's goofy. Like, if you understand how language works and just the Bible's miraculous, man. It really is. For you to have that many authors and them kind of, the cross-referencing is crazy.
It's crazy.
There's just different from different errors and all that. So that's all I'm looking for. And I find myself defending the Bible. Because I was like, okay, I don't believe the Bible's true either, but that's not what it says. Like, you shouldn't have to lie on the thing if it is a lie. You know what I mean? Like, that should be very easy. The Bible, you should really be able to just open it. You shouldn't have to go searching. Like, you should be able to open it. We can do that with our history books and say, oh, someone's lying here. It didn't take 400 years for us to be like, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. That didn't take that long to see that contradiction. You mean this book is this old, this many authors written this long ago, completely different cultures, and I got to take a magnifying glass? I want to see, it says, but it doesn't finish here. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, that's what, so I'm like, okay, I'm biblically based. Well, if that's what I'm basing my truth on, then you should objectively be able to attack that openly. And I shouldn't feel the need to defend it. I hope the Bible's wrong. I want the Bible to be false, real bad. Real bad. You don't understand how badly I want the Bible to be false.
You want the Bible to be so wrong?
Oh man, I want the Bible to be false. Because my flesh is super active. There's people I want to grab out their face right now. There's people right now that I want to do bad things to them because they've earned that. They need that in their life. And in fact, I'm being dead serious. And in fact, I'm withhold. They know it too, because that's why they dodge it. The only reason I ain't because of this love in my heart. It's because of what I answer to. It's because of the law. Not because I love. Who's your God? That's it. That's it. But if this turned out to be false, the first thing I'm doing, I have a list. I'm dead.
No.
Dead serious.
That's the truest thing you can say. As a Christian, I feel
I
like
got a list right now, bro. If this
That's
turned out to be false,
yeah.
people are like, oh, this and that. No, there's some people I gotta go get up out of here.
yeah.
I gotta get them out of here.
The only restraint I have is God.
Because I'm more afraid, and it's sad because it's coming from a place of fear.
yeah.
It's sad that we need the law. It's sad that God has to tell me to love my brother, or you gonna have a problem with me. It's sad that's just the case. But it's better that than nothing. It's sad that you got the law. It's sad that you need the law, but thank God you got the law. You know what I mean? And sometimes the law is the only thing that's. I should be compassionate. Understand where they're coming from. I don't care about none of that. No, my flesh itches for conflict with these, bro. What? The first thing I'm doing is, and then right after I go my heal list, I'm going out to churches. That was my goal initially,
Yeah.
right?
You are more prone to be susceptible to indulge in your own desire.
What?
So
No, my stuff is evil.
if the Bible is the one,
If the because if the Bible, then you can't. Then you saying evil is left up to how I define it,
yeah,
and I would conveniently define it after I do something.
after
evil.
you do something
Yeah.
evil. Yeah.
Straight up in my TI, well, you know what I'm saying? I was rapping about drugs and guns my whole career. You know, I'm a millionaire off of it. Come back and be like, that was the wrong thing to do. Yeah, I would love to be on that. I respect that. I'm with that, except what I answer to. You know what I mean? And so when we talk about success, when we talk about progress and all that, it does not matter if a man has not decided how he's going to go about what he's trying to do. Often we just focus on the what I want to happen. And that's why we so depressed, so much anxiety or whatever. A man must first ground himself in who he is, who he wants to be. That has to be more important than anything he's trying to accomplish. If you're not starting there, then the conversation about success, all you're doing is, you're basically, it's whole work. To be honest with you, I want to do anything for $1. I want to do anything for $1. Anything for that 200,000. There's a lot of things you get into that will destroy you. A lot of things that will destroy you. Don't matter. I just want the goal. You got to first decide, who are you trying to become? And then from there, we'll let you know. So because of what I'm trying to become, there's certain goals are just, I can't make making money a goal. Right? Luke 6 principles. You're those who ask, take care of people. Right? He'll tell you. There's always people I'm always taking care of people who are not my children. Right? That has always been the case. Right? That's what God has given me. Well, because of that, I may never be rich in that way. I can't make that a goal. But if I didn't have those principles, then I just might.
Yeah.
Your integrity first. Build your integrity, then start trying to decide how to go about things.
I like that.
Just to bring it back to the topic. But yeah.
But the thing about trying to build your integrity first, that may get in the way of what you really want.
Well, that means that if your remember, your integrity tells you how you're going to fail. Right?
Yeah.
Your integrity tells you you're going to fail. I don't work on the Sabbath. There's times where things are going well now for the business, but there's times where things are really tough. And they were offering us to take loads on the Sabbath. No. But bro, I'm not even sure I'm going to pay my bills this month. But I got to say, I'm choosing. My integrity tells people how I'm willing to suffer. And that's the only thing. And let's say I decided my weakness, I had a weak moment, took a load on whatever, right? And went against my conviction. Well, because I'm going to call the people that took the load from was like, I should have did that. And I shouldn't have called you. I shouldn't have called you to sin based on what I know. I got anybody who's involved, I go back and apologize because I misrepresented who I was.
Yeah.
I'm giving this money, whatever money I got from that, I'm giving it away. Whatever. Because I'm saying this is how I'm choosing to suffer. That's what integrity does.
Wow.
And so now, because if you understand that, then there's certain things that you won't even consider or entertain because your integrity makes it a no to begin with. So now you're making decisions on success based upon that framework.
The frameworks of integrity.
But if you don't got a framework, you just out here hoeing. Anything for anything for $1, anything. Or it may not even be $1, anything to accomplish your goals. You'll become anything to get the thing that you want. You made that thing into a God. What do you think about to happen?
Catastrophe.
Exactly. So I think we move too fast sometimes in the success conversation. What are you rooting in?
What are you reading? Okay.
What are you rooting in?
I think should we make that a part 1?
I mean, I'm following you, sir. You tell me.
Okay, let's make that a part
But I
1.
think that's a great place to end.
Yeah, that's a good place. Do you have anything, Steph?
No, that's all right.
All right, well,
For another hour.
any last thing? Are you guys good?
No, man. I mean, it's a pleasure being here, man. I want to say
It's a pleasure.
it's a pleasure to be here, man.
I learned a lot from you guys. So guys, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit a new milestone, and like, share, comment below if there's something that blessed you or impacted you in a way that, you know, it could be beneficial to you. So just leave a comment below, and then we can touch on it next time, because I'm thinking of bringing these two guys here again on the podcast.
Yeah, we with it, man. We with it. Definitely with it. No, for sure. Thank you, man.